So if you've never made a film before and you want to make a film, you got to do the dirty work. What do I mean by that? When I say you got to do the dirty work, I'm talking about the tedious stuff that nobody wants to do. I'm talking about going through the script or whatever the idea is, finding all the props that you need, planning where your locations where you're going to shoot at, contact whoever you need to contact so that you have said locations, just do all of that stuff, even if you don't want to do it, because at the end of the day, nobody else wants to do that. And I can promise you nobody's going to want to do that for free or for like a little bit of money. No, that's not happening. What are you going to do? You're going to outsource labor for your Drive ripoff? No, come on. That's very petite bourgeoisie of you, don't you think? And I know I'm being really hard on you here, but I'm only doing that because I really think that you can do it. I do believe that everybody has a good story in them and everybody can make films and be a filmmaker. It's just a matter of if you're willing to get over that hurdle of doing the not so fun stuff. But you might like it. You might like the tedious stuff. Even if you don't, I promise you that after you've done it all, you're going to feel so accomplished. You're going to feel like a real filmmaker. And that's just the facts. And so many people have such a skewed perception as to what it means to have made a film, right? Just because your film wasn't made with the highest level of technology that's been presented to you over and over and over again all these years on these big budget productions doesn't mean it's not a film. It just means you didn't have that much money to make it. You didn't have everything that they have, right? You're still a filmmaker. You make a film, you're a filmmaker, but you have to make a film, right? And I don't even really like to use the term indie because when we talk about indie films, what does that mean? Now, that means that they're independent of a, big production company, but it doesn't mean that they're really just doing everything, building everything from the ground up, right? Like, you look at Obsession, and that movie's, doing numbers, and it's making big waves. Great movie. I'm not going to crap on it. But, like, you look at that, and people say, oh, it had, like, no budget. It had $800,000 was its budget. Do you have $800,000 lying around? I don't, right? So, on one hand, it's like, yeah, it's an accomplishment. But on the other hand, there was still a lot of money that went into it to make it what it was. To me, that's not really indie. To me, indie is like, you look at Creep, the movie Creep by Mark Duplass. They made that movie for like $200, I think. Maybe $4 was like the most they spent on it, I'm pretty sure. And I think a lot of it went to buying and renting an Airbnb or something. That's filmmaking. That's doable, right? You look at that number and you're like, wow. Like, even the brokest dude could set aside that money in a couple months, right? And hopefully make that. It's something that's possible. It's possible. It's inspiring. Look into it. And I'm sure you don't want to make something that is not going to be great quality, but like, when do you think you're going to have the opportunity to make something great quality? Do you think that the opportunity is just going to come knocking at your door? One day somebody's just going to hand you hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a movie? No, it doesn't work like that. You got to show that, for one, you have something if you want to get that kind of money, but you also can learn so much from not having any money and just working with whatever it is you do have. That's what's beautiful about filmmaking. To me, that's real filmmaking. Real filmmaking is taking what you have and making it work. Adjusting. Obstacle, how are we getting over it? The more obstacles, the better, honestly. Well, maybe not so much, but you get what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that your films have to look and sound like garbage, right? There are just more affordable ways and certain things that you can kind of pay attention to while you're in production and be mindful of that can sort of help you up the quality at a level that really will distinguish you from somebody who doesn't pay attention to these things. But I'm not going to get into that today. You want to stick around, subscribe, I can share that knowledge. Hopefully I'm going to do a different video with that in the future. A bunch of tricks that I use to elevate my production value. But that's a whole other thing. And you don't need a camera. We already know this. You can use your phone. Feature films have been shot on an iPhone. Granted, yes, it was written into like how it was used and everything, and that's how they do it in Creep too. But maybe your idea is something like that. I don't know. It's not an excuse. Regardless, we all have a smartphone, and if you don't have a smartphone, like find a friend who does and use that. Or better, find a friend who has a camera and see if you could borrow it. But like that's always kind of rough. I wouldn't trust you with my camera. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. But maybe in the future. Right now, not for your first film. You use the phone for your first one. So I'm working on a new project, and I've been doing this, filling in this notebook here. Right, I got it $1, Five Below. Can't beat it. Come on. We don't need to. What? We don't need to spend all kinds of on little things like this. You can go to the dollar store or Five Below. You can, like, paper is a big thing. If you're just jotting down ideas, don't waste your money on some notebook that you think is like the perfect. No, like be reasonable here, man. Okay, but right here I have the cast. I wrote it down. I have the cast. I have a page with. I went through the whole script that I wrote and looked at every prop that I needed, and I wrote it down on a page, right? And then over here, I have like let's see if we can get this here. It's like a schematic of the road, or the area that I'm shooting in, to help me keep track of where I want each shot, right? You got to do whatever you need to do to visualize it too. Like these are important things to have. Like if I have someone on camera that day because I can't because I'm in the scene, this will be a helpful thing to use, right? This is the kind of dirty work I'm talking about, guys. This is it. I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to paste parts of the script and put like a little shot. If I really have a really specific shot in mind, like I do a little storyboard thing. I'll talk more about storyboards in a different video, but you get the idea. Get started. No more excuses.